Hyderabad. I'm Akanksha Swaroop and it is day 3 of our coverage in Hyderabad. And guess where I am today? I am at the world famous Koti College. As you can see, this is the residency of Koti College. Let me tell you a bit about Koti College. Well, it was constructed in the year 1924 by the then Usman Mir Ali Khan, who was the Nizam back then in 1924, and he did so at the behest of Mr. Rabindranath Tagore. Well, he only wanted that an educational institution be set up to empower the girl child, and that is why the Koti College in fact continues to do so, to empower the girl child through education. And last year only, in fact, it reached its centenary year and it's now been upgraded to being part of the Telangana Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, and that is what it's known as well. But remember, the Prime Minister is also visiting Telangana, and there's a lot to talk about as far as the politics of Telangana is concerned, which is only heating up. Remember, Prime Minister has also, in fact, made some assurances and promises to the people of Telangana as far as Lok Sabha election of 2024 is concerned. We'll bring you all of that with our esteemed panelists today. Stay tuned to Election Highway as I give you a glimpse of what I found in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is considered as one of the main trading centers for pearls in India. That's gorgeous. Why is Hyderabad known as the city of pearls?
Because the Nizams likes pearls very much, madam.
At Koti College, joining me are in fact some very interesting guests I have with me today. I'm joined in by senior journalist Mr. Sai Shekhar.
Hello.
I'm also joined in by Patabi, who is a senior advocate.
Hi.
Joined in by Yamuna Pathak, who is an activist and a psychologist. Thank you for joining in. I'm also joined in by Mr. B.P. Padala, who is in fact the chairman of the Roots Collegium. I hope I got all of that right.
That's right.
All right, let's dive straight on with Prime Minister's visit. We know that Prime Minister is in Telangana as we speak. How much of an impact will Prime Minister's in-person visit to Telangana make at a time when it is Modi's guarantee versus Congress ki guarantees?
Definitely, Prime Minister visit enhanced BJP mobility. There was a perception that Modi commands around 5% vote share, or who can wean away younger generation. But again, he might have consolidated a bit of Hindu community in Telangana state. But going obviously against the Muslim reservation, I think it could boomerang a bit on the prospects of BJP.
That's very interesting that you mentioned the youth also, which is why I want to take your perspective on this, Yamuna. As far as not just Prime Minister, even Amit Shah has made some very stinging remarks about the Muslim reservation, about removing OBC quota from Telangana if BJP is voted to power. How do you think that will go down with the youth of Telangana?
There is a paradigm shift in our country, not just in Telangana. With having more than people who are less than 35 years of age are more than 65%, and if you see the vote share of youngsters, more than 25 years of less than 25 years of youngsters who are accounting for 50% of vote share in the country. So people now here looking at beyond anything else, especially youngsters, they are looking for development, they are looking at employment at large, because that is playing a pivotal role. Today, even in Telangana movement, we have got separate state in Telangana because that was one of the biggest agenda for us. The previous rulers also promised employment guarantee. So this is one thing which will play a very pivotal role. So youth here are beyond all these things. So here what they are looking for is for development, employment, security. So.
And that's why, that is what Revanth Reddy says. He's been, in fact, riding high on the Raitu Bharosa scheme. He's been riding high on how the girl students have been getting free bus rides. Do you think that these guarantees of the Congress party will sort of work and win the favor of the youth?
Yes. In fact, if you see to the last assembly elections, Revanth Reddy had been an alpha male in politics who has dethroned the earlier regime of BRS. So people are disillusioned or were disillusioned with the earlier regime for whatever reasons, because number of promises were not kept and things were not properly materialized as promised by the rulers then. But at the same time, how much there has been an anti-incumbency wave during the last time bringing Revanth Reddy to power, we have to see that BRS is still having a very strong hold on the political scenario.
Right. Something that I also observed as I watched the BRS rallies and the kind of cadres that are in fact gathering over there. On that note, let me in fact bring you inside the fact, how do you see the caste survey promise in the Congress manifesto play out with the youth, especially in Telangana? Because in fact the Congress is also trying to twist it around, saying that if you say that reservation should be class based and not caste based, the caste survey will in fact give you an idea of how many Brahmins are perhaps poor.
Yeah, caste survey may help, but then those things really don't cut political ice, especially in southern states. Because southern states are governed by or influenced by caste, but then which caste man is contesting and which caste man is spearheading an election for which party, and if he belongs to my caste, I will favor him. This is the attitude of the people. So, if caste politics have to play out, BRS would never have been in power for 10 years. The community to which KCR belongs is not even 1.5% in the state's population. So, caste politics and caste-based reservation survey and all don't make much impact, and that is not going to connect much with the youth. Youth, as Yamuna was talking about, they might think about the employment. But then there is a general misconception about the employment opportunities when it comes to the electorate.
Right.
Especially when political parties are talking, they think it is government job.
Right.
Employment opportunity is not a government job.
That's why, Yamuna, I want to bring you in on this aspect that in, say, a Lok Sabha constituency like Hyderabad, where you have a majority of minority voters like the Muslims, will the BJP be able to sort of include them in? Because Madhuri Lata has promised to do work for the Muslim community as well. She's saying that I have done enough for the Pasmanda Muslim women as well, and I'll continue to work for them, whereas an Owaisi is only working for a particular community.
See, here I would like to talk about the policies of a political party rather than individual interests or individual promises, which we should never bank on. So here, if you're talking about Hyderabad constituency, people are really, there is a dearth for development in every sphere, right from the poverty, the illiteracy rate or the unemployment issues, the schools, the basic sanitation. So these are the things, you know, where the local infrastructure, all these things really matter. So beyond that, if people, it's beyond religion. I don't think, you know, it will have any impact, because religion is, for me personally, it's a faith of an individual. So that shouldn't play a pivotal role in electoral kind of a thing. So
Fair enough.
yeah,
Fair
so
enough. Mr. Padala, if you in fact see how Owaisi, as an educated barrister himself, if one in fact goes and tours around Hyderabad, will come across still Muslim women who are sort of cocooned in a very patriarchal setup. The question that came to my mind, that when you in fact have a look at Muslim women in various other parts of the country, I happen to belong to Lucknow, that was not the same scenario. Even when you question these women for just an opinion, they'd be looking at their husbands for a permission. Has Owaisi done enough for Muslim women and for their empowerment?
There is a popular opinion that he didn't do anything to the Muslim community. In fact, there was a lot of discouragement against Owaisi regime for the 2 decades in the old city. But Madhav Lata's more emphasis on Hindutva might drive Muslims away from the from her towards Owaisi, because if they see it as an existential question where the religion is being attacked by Madhav Lata overtly during a campaign. So, despite Owaisi's role in the old city, much was not done in the old city.
All right, Mr. Vimal Pate, if I could actually bring you in on this aspect. Do you think that this is going to be a direct contest as far as Hyderabad is concerned between Madhvi Lata and an Owaisi?
Absolutely. It is a tough contest for Madhvi Lata, what I feel, because she's not just contesting as a candidate of BJP, but she has brought in religion, the way she has been doing histrionics or dramatics, and the way she has been acting in public as if she is a sole representative of Hindu religion, which is not called for. See, after all, you are contesting an election. An election is a constitutional mandate. You have to go by the constitution and what all the party to which you belong offers you. That is
BJP sounds very confident in Telangana. Do you think that confidence will translate into votes as far as Hyderabad is concerned?
Absolutely no, because one is Old City is something different. Whatever you say, they have got their admiration or sort of icon feeling towards their leaders. Right, as just now Mr. Padala was telling, this is an opportunity where Mr. Owaisi will, I am not saying should, but I am sure that he will change the Old City and the people from that patriarchal society to a more social and developing concept he will bring about, because whatever it is, Madhvi Lata is giving him a tough fight. Madhvi Lata is making him shudder. Whether she wins or not, the fact that she is creating an awareness of
She's attacked him where it hurts the most,
Yes.
and that is Muslim patriarchy. She's attacked triple talaq as an issue. She's also spoken about the rights and empowerment of the girl child, because she says that not only is the Muslim girl child a part of the minority, she's also the girl child.
Absolutely.
So that makes it a double whammy of
So
sorts for.
she has really stirred the hornet's nest, I can say, in the Old City. But still, the balance, the seesaw is going to be in favor of Mr. Owaisi.
Fair enough. But now let's get in a bird's eye view from you, Sai, in terms of where Telangana stands. The BRS is still very confident. As I was speaking to KTR yesterday, he said that India is not a country where we have a bi-party system. We are a democracy where you have multiple parties that have a role to play, whether or not the BJP and Congress may want to acknowledge it.
So BRS and the vote percentage difference between BRS and the Congress is just 2% in 2023 assembly election. This is one. And second factor is the upcoming election is for Lok Sabha. So people think whether we should vote for a congressman. If the Indie bloc comes to power, maybe the state would benefit. This is one. And if NDA comes to power, BJP would be of advantage. This is another thought process. But then where does BRS stand in this? After the elections of assembly, KCR hit the road. KCR has actually suffered three things. One, an electoral debacle. Second thing, he had a fall, physical hurt, and he underwent a surgery. And he was an ailing man till recently.
True.
And third thing, his daughter is imprisoned. That's an emotive issue. With all this, he came to present himself as someone who is a savior of the people, Telangana's cause and the people of Telangana. That is why the kind of attendance KCR used to command during assembly elections and previous times, there is an earth and heaven difference between what he used to command and what he is right now commanding. And
Is that a unanimous sort of opinion you all have about the BRS? Do you think it's struggling to survive?
BRS has got a grassroots level strength and support. No one can deny
That's
that.
visible on ground.
That is visible. Now the question is whether the anti-KCR or anti-BRS feeling has totally faded or not. That is the question, because as I said, we have got Mr. Revanth Reddy, young, dynamic, absolutely totally energetic. As I was telling that he was an alpha lion coming out and attacking everyone left, right and center. And the people are still in fascination of Revanth Reddy as of now. So how much of this fascination will turn into votes for Congress and how much it will turn into...
Interestingly, yesterday KTR also launched a very scathing attack at Revanth Reddy. He said that he's a man of contradictions. In fact, the party is a party of contradictions, because Revanth Reddy is a chief minister from the Congress party, but he endorses Modi's ideology. जो है राहुल गांधी कहते हैं गुजरात मॉडल बेकार है, रेवंत रेड्डी कहते हैं गुजरात मॉडल शानदार है, राहुल गांधी कहते हैं केजरीवाल की अरेस्ट गलत है, रेवंत रेड्डी कहते हैं कि कविता की अरेस्ट सही थी. So he's brought out that paradox which he's attacked as far as Congress party is concerned. Do you think the voter in Telangana cares?
I think Revanth Reddy is playing to the scenario beyond the parliament elections, because he knew that he has to survive the onslaught of BJP as well as the BRS in these elections. And I think he is positioning himself to brace for the new realities. So that's the reason, being a clever, intelligent politician, he is placing himself not too far away from Modi, BJP. So,
Absolutely. Yamuna, what are those factors that you will be keeping in mind when you, as a woman voter, cast your vote? Because we've seen before elections, all big parties, very aggressively woo the female voters. There's also been a considerable rise in women electorate. Having said that, how much is promised on paper and what translates on ground reality? Is that going to be a concern for you?
Certainly, because most of the time, irrespective of any political party, the moment you talk about women's issues, they're always at a backbench. They take the backbench, but this is something to be really observed and they should be taken care of. Right from the place, women, we need more women in, in the mainstream electorate, to contest.
What's your view as an activist? How much do you see is the female representation?
It's very less, absolutely meager. So which is something people have to demonstrate. They just not merely talk about. So that's one thing. And even when you take the local elections, for the name's sake, women is being given. Even then, if there is a reservation, the woman is given a position. It is the husbands or somebody in the male counterpart who actually runs the show. We don't want that kind of reservation where woman is given only for the namesake and somebody else from the family, and again the male things takes place over there. We don't want.
All right.
And women's security is another very crucial thing where people don't even talk about, which is something absolutely. There are so many rape cases which are happening, the POCSO cases in every state, and how many? Even the Nirbhaya fund which is coming to the events, our Telugu states, it's just going unspent, and all the fund goes back, to the treasury. So that shows how much is being spent. There are no fast track courts. Abhi tak to jo bhi they have come upon about women's security. We have so many missing cases even in Hyderabad. Why is it not spoken about? So this is of major concern for all of us, and any political party. Women will definitely only will look into the parties who think for them. For them, the women's safety and women's issues are of major concern. Definitely,
that must have been also one of the reasons why the Bharatiya Janata Party chose to, in fact, field a Madhavi Lata. Do you see that as mere tokenism, or Madhavi Lata will be able to garner that vote from the women voter base?
Considering the way you are laying emphasis on Madhavi Lata, I understand that, Madhavi Lata commands more of eyeballs. She's a YouTube star and a television star. I'm very sure that
I didn't make her the star.
Yeah, and I'm very sure she can lose in Hyderabad. Beating OIC is very difficult. If that is the case,
it will be a miracle in 40 years.
No, if that is the case, defeating Asaduddin OIC is a challenge which the BJP really wants to take on. Maybe Amit Shah or Modi would have tried their hand here as a second constituency in Hyderabad. That did not happen. And so this is just a tokenism, I'm very sure about.
All right, Pratapi Vemulpati, finally. Let me bring you in on the quota issue. As far as Rohit Vemula, a figure for Dalit resistance, no more, but the politics of it continues to plague the nation with not much concrete action being taken. How do you see this panning out at a state level, where the Congress party has also been attacked for the flip-flop and for the callousness with which it permitted for the report to be filed in?
Unfortunately, what is happening is, whatever happened to Rohit Vemula, it is gross injustice. When whichever government it is, they did not take it very serious. They did not take it serious at all. But when it comes to elections and voting, I doubt whether this has got or this will have any effect on the voting pattern. Because the voting will only go for, am I voting for Revant Reddy? Am I voting for KCR? Or am I voting for Modi's Hindutva? That's it. So
she's working with the youth very actively. Do you not think that reservation is going to be a crucial issue with at least the first-time voters and the youth voters?
It will have its impact because we've been taught, we've been living with it. So whatever we want to convey it with social responsibility. As long as you convey with social responsibility in a very inclusive way, if you start working inclusively, keeping nation as one, people as one, irrespective of any distinction, then things really matter. So think logically. apply things logically and don't divide by any name of class, reservation and all that, but look at inclusively for the overall development and everybody's development, irrespective of any class or caste or distinction.
But the decision to reinvestigate perhaps could have been some saving grace for the Congress party as far as the Rohit Vemula report is concerned, but it is being attacked and has given rather much ammo to the BJP, and in fact someone like KTR from BRS also, who said that the man knows nothing about his administration if such a report has been filed under him.
When the report was released, it could have been a routine police matter, but I think Revanth Reddy, our Congress government, caught unguarded off guard when the report came out. But as
No, and when you say that they were caught off guard, is that not an indication of how they are approaching the matter? Is it just becoming mere tokenism, considering their manifesto mentions the Rohit Vemula Act to be enacted if they come to power?
I don't think the Rohit Vemula issue can have a greater impact on the way voters perceive whether to vote for Revanth, Congress or BJP. As Patabhiyan has said, so either it could be for Modi's Hindutva or Revanth Karishma or six formulas, whatever that six-bone thing, or still if KTR retains the kind of Karishma being the father of Telangana. So people will decide between these three ideologies rather than Rohit Vemula's issue. I don't think it is going to have any major impact on the voting outcome.
All right, Sai, let's...
As far as this Rohit Vemula's thing or any other caste thing, my understanding is, supposing it was elections to the assembly, then there can be a considerable effect, because by choosing candidates or raising this issue, SC, ST.
No, but we are talking at a time when Prime Minister Modi has already said that they will remove Muslim reservation, and that Amit Shah has also taken it a step forward, saying that we will remove OBC quota as well if we are voted to power and in Telangana.
So that will have an adverse effect. In fact, just now earlier Mr. Padala has said, it is going to drive the Muslims away from the BJP candidates. It is going to polarize the Muslim segment, because whether it is Hyderabad, whether it is Secunderabad constituency or anywhere in Telangana, wherever the Muslims are in a majority, they will surely get polarized. They will just consolidate it together and see that the opposing BJP candidate does not come to power or get elected. So Modi has literally damaged his own party in Telangana, where Muslim population is considerably present. So he has done it is something like a foot in the mouth syndrome which he has committed.
And with that, let's now bring you a CNN News 18 exclusive. I had the opportunity to speak to KT Rama Rao, the BRS leader, who's in fact reacted to that CNN News 18 exclusive with Telangana's Chief Minister, Mr. Revanth Reddy. He's gone on to call the Telangana CM a joke, pointing out all the contradictions between CM Revanth Reddy's statements and those of Rahul Gandhi. He's also questioned the India opposition alliance's own unity. Let's listen in to that explosive interview of KT Rama Rao. Mr. KT Rama Rao, thank you for making it on a day it's been so stormy. Do you see any symbolism of the turbulence outside for the political fortunes of the BRS?
Not at all. In fact, if anything, while the weather may be damp, I think our spirits are not. We are certainly very, very confident, and we are very hopeful that things have turned around in the last 5 months. And it's looking very, very good. Hopefully, you'll see probably BRS's best performance in the parliament ever on the 4th of June.
That sounds very reassuring for a party that garnered over 41% vote share in the 2019 Lok Sabha share. And as far as Congress and the BJP were concerned, they were much behind. Even in the assembly election, yes, you were not leading, but there was a very thin margin between you and the Congress party. Do you see the Lok Sabha 2019 performance getting replicated this time here?
No, in fact, we are hoping to do better, because in 2014, we had won about 11 parliament seats, 11 Lok Sabha seats. In 2019, we had won 9. This time I'm hoping that we'll cross 11 and probably get around 12 or 13. The reason why I say this is because of two things. 10 years of NDA government, 10 years of abysmal performance, absolute incompetence, absolute zero in terms of delivery to Telangana has resulted in a lot of people basically realizing that BJP as a party has done diddly squat for Telangana, has done very little for Indians at large. Likewise, the newly formed Congress government about 5 months ago, had promised the moon. हथेली में जन्नत दिखा दिए, पर जब डिलीवरी की बात आई 5 महीने में कुछ नहीं किया. तो इसीलिए आज एक माहौल ऐसा लग रहा है कि people have realized that they've been cheated by both बड़ा भाई Modi Saab and Chota Bhai Revant Reddy Saab.
Revant Reddy is tom-tomming about the Raitu Bandhu scheme. I've spoken to the girl students from HCU. They are very happy with the fact that they are getting free bus travel.
Let me correct your leading statement. Raitu Bandhu is an initiative of BRS.
Absolutely.
But let me complete it. Revant Reddy had promised what was called Raitu Bharosa, meaning 50% enhancement over Raitu Bandhu. Unfortunately, he did not deliver it. Not only did he not deliver it, but he failed miserably. जब हम लोग सत्ता छोड़ के गए थे, we had left about 7,000 plus crores in the kitty, which was meant to be for Raitu Bandhu disbursement. This man takes 5 months, and now finally, normally क्या होता है ना, at the time of sowing of a crop होता है Raitu Bandhu investment देना, but now this man is finally delivering at the time of harvest, and that too, not the enhanced amount that he promised within 100 days, just what was kept in the kitty and spread over a period of 5 months. So the farming community is extremely upset, and you will see this in the polls.
Revant Reddy is saying that they don't even consider you as a national player, and that it's not even a track-honored contest. It's a direct contest between the Bharatiya Janata Party and Congress.
The Congress and the BJP and their sense of entitlement, उनको लगता है कि उनका बाप का जागीर है देश, बट नहीं है. देश किसी का जागीर नहीं होता है, देश हर किसी का होता है. इस देश में 2 पार्टी नहीं है, इस देश में मल्टी पार्टी सिस्टम है. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया अलाउज फॉर मल्टी पार्टी सिस्टम. इट्स अ पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी. इनमें 5 सीट जीतने वाले होते हैं, 10 सीट जीतने वाले होते हैं, 50 सीट जीतने वाले होते हैं. अगर औकात की बात आती है, मैं पूछना चाहता हूं रेवंत रेड्डी से, कांग्रेस की क्या औकात है आज इंडिया में, जबकि आपके खुद के पार्टनर ममता बनर्जी कहती हैं कि आप पूरे हिंदुस्तान में 40 सीट नहीं पार कर पाओगे. तो औकात की अगर बात आती है, हम भी बहुत कुछ बोल सकते हैं, पर सभ्यता संस्कार भी एक चीज होती है, इसलिए ज्यादा नहीं बोलना चाहता, पर ये बात जरूर कहूंगा. कांग्रेस जिसको लोग देख देख के थक चुके हैं, जिसके हाथों में चीट हो के पक चुके हैं, कांग्रेस को इस बार मौका नहीं मिलेगा तेलंगाना में. बाहर हिंदुस्तान में, बाहर अलग राज्यों में और राज्यों में क्या हो रहा है, अन्य राज्यों में क्या हो रहा है, ये मैं नहीं जानता. आई डोंट नो, बट ऑल आई कैन टेल यू इज इन तेलंगाना द कांग्रेस इज set to receive a rude shock from the people.
For a BJP that is in fact setting its target on 400 par, where do you see this alliance on the other hand?
You know what the slogan is all about, right? 400 पार क्या होगा, आपको क्या लगता है? पेट्रोल और डीजल का दाम 400 पार होगा. अगर बीजेपी को आप वोट दोगे तो 400 पार हो जाएगा पेट्रोल रेट और डीजल रेट. ये पक्की बात है.
That's BJP on one hand. How do you contrast that with the Indie alliance on the other hand?
Well, I'll tell you what. This country is not bipolar. It is not a contest between India and India. There are 13 parties, significantly large parties, which are neither in the NDA camp nor in the India camp. I'll give you 3 names. One is BRS, of course, which is expecting to win anywhere upwards of 12. Second is YSRCP in Andhra Pradesh. They're not in either camps. The third is Biju Janata Dal, and there's several others who are like-minded. All I'm saying, Akanksha ji, is in India, especially electoral pacts and post-poll and pre-poll understandings, these are very, very transitory. So trust me when I say this. Today, what binds India alliance also is there is no mutual respect.
And that's why I want to ask you.
There's no mutual trust. So all I'm saying is
the lack of support from regional parties. Do you think that is becoming the Achilles heel for India alliance?
Not at all, not at all. In fact, if anything, I think these 2 national parties, so-called national parties, are also big-sized regional parties. कांग्रेस के कितने हैं आज सीट पूरे देश में, आंकड़े कितने हैं? 50. राहुल गांधी स्वयं नहीं लड़ सकते हैं अमेठी से, वो खुद भाग जाते हैं. अब ऐसे लीडर जो खुद अपने सीट से नहीं लड़ सकता, हार गया तो भाग गया, ऐसे लीडर से क्या उम्मीद रखना है? और दूसरी तरफ एनडीए है, जिसकी भी बात सोचना चाहिए. बार बार कहते हैं कि 400 पार करेंगे। मुझे आप 4 वजह बता दीजिए, कोई बीजेपी लीडर बता दे 4 वजह कि तेलंगाना में आपको वोट क्यों देना है, क्या किया क्या आपने। मैं बस इतना ही कहूंगा आपसे कि ये जो एक लहर की बात होती है, ये जो एक ट्रेंड की बात होती है, अल्टीमेटली अगर आप देखेंगे तो ना एनडीए ना इंडिया अलायंस दोनों भी आज अंडर कॉन्फिडेंट लग रहे हैं।
Let's come to what your sister K. Kavita had to say at the Rouse Avenue court today. She said they let a Prajwal Revanna escape, and this is for the public to note that leaders like us are arrested.
Not
Your
just
thoughts?
Prajwal Revanna, Vijay Mallya, and so many others, who have cheated the country, looted the banks, have been given safe passage. It's a fact. Prime Minister Modi, he is known to help his friends. 14.5 lakh crores of corporate loan has been waived off, whereas 30 lakh crore rupees of money has been collected from the poor on the petrol and through the petrol and diesel cess. My
In a
point
CNN
is,
News 18 exclusive, Revanth Reddy has in fact said that the reason behind K. Kavita's arrest was to arrest Kejriwal, and that corruption had nothing to do with that arrest. But mind you, he says that if corruption was the reason behind the arrest, then they should have arrested you and your father, Mr. KCR.
see, Revanth Reddy is a joke. I don't take him seriously, but I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you why he's a joke. He's a Congress chief minister, but he toes the line of Prime Minister Modi. स्वयं राहुल गांधी जाते हैं रामलीला मैदान और आक्रोश व्यक्त करते हैं कि केजरीवाल जी को अरेस्ट करना गलत था, और रेवंत रेड्डी जी कहते हैं कि कविता को अरेस्ट करना सही है। अब राहुल गांधी जी कहते हैं कि चौकीदार चोर है, रेवंत रेड्डी कहते हैं कि चौकीदार मेरे बड़े भाई है। अब राहुल जी कहते हैं गुजरात मॉडल बेकार है, रेवंत जी कहते हैं कि गुजरात मॉडल शानदार है। राहुल जी कहते हैं अदानी फ्रॉड है, रेवंत जी कहते हैं अदानी फ्रेंड है। इसलिए मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, रोहित वेमुला एक्ट बनाना चाहते थे राहुल गांधी,
उस पे भी
सुनिए
उन्होंने ये कहा,
सुन तो लीजिए,
I want you to counter that.
सुन तो लीजिए, मैं जो कह रहा हूं सुन तो लीजिए। राहुल गांधी जी रोहित वेमुला एक्ट बनाना चाहते थे, और उनके खुद के स्वयं चीफ मिनिस्टर की गवर्नमेंट आज कहती है कि रोहित वेमुला दलित नहीं है। तो ये कहां किसकी लाइन टो कर रहे हैं? मैं तो कह रहा हूं आपसे, आज लिख के रख लो आप, ये आदमी जो है इलेक्शन के तुरंत बाद बीजेपी में जंप करने वाला पहला आदमी होगा पूरे हिंदुस्तान में, रेवंत रेड्डी। आप लिख लो।
रोहित वेमुला का केस बंद कराने के लिए उन्होंने कहा एक प्लॉय था बीजेपी और बीआरएस के बीच में।
या तो सत्ता नहीं संभाल पा रहे, या वो खुद नहीं जानते कि क्या हो रहा है राज्य में, क्योंकि चीफ मिनिस्टर होने के नाते द बक स्टॉप्स विथ हिम। If his own department is submitting a report to the court that Rohit Vemula is not a Dalit, where does the buck stop? You tell me. This report was submitted to the court in March 2024, 4 months after Revanth Reddy becomes the chief minister. Either the man does not know what the hell he's doing, or he has no control over his own administration. That's all I'll tell you.
To end with, Mr. Rao, I just want to ask you, what would you like to tell your critics who are saying the BRS is bleeding out and that it's struggling to stay afloat?
We'll talk on June 4th.
I wish you the very best.
Cheers.
Many
Thank
thanks to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us your precious time here at
Cheers.
CNN News.
Thank you.
Hyderabad is the main trading center for pearls in India, and that is why it's little wonder why it's known as the city of pearls. And I have in fact come over here at one of the main hubs for pearls in Hyderabad only to show you how in fact they trade in pearls and what has been the sort of progress as far as the trade in pearls is concerned, because I'm also being told that now they don't only just get pearls which are drilled in and outside of Hyderabad, they've also started dealing in pearls that come all the way from Sri Lanka and in fact Fiji. And telling me more about it is one such shopkeepers, and that is Harish. Harish, thank you for joining in on CNN News 18. Do tell me what all kind of beautiful pearls that I'm seeing. You were telling me about freshwater pearls versus cultured pearls. How do you make the difference out, first of all?
This is cultured pearl, ma'am, man-made.
All right.
Okay, and these are freshwater. In freshwater, you'll get 5 colors, natural colors. One is pink, peach, white, grey, and black.
You were showing a test earlier. Can you do that and show me?
See, this is cultivated actually. If you scratch the pearl, whether it is cultivated, it can be peel off.
Oh, I can see.
Okay. The real pearl is nothing but calcium, ma'am. Okay, if you scratch the pearl, only calcium powder will come
I
out.
can see, there's barely any residue coming out from
Yeah.
this pearl, which is the real
This
pearl.
this is real, madam. Again, you can clean it. There is no scratch at all.
All right, that's gorgeous. Do show me all the other pearls that you have. Are these all freshwater pearls, Harish ji, as I can see?
Yeah. This is fresh water, madam. All fresh water. See,
If I may, in fact, request one of the camera persons to come forward and take close-ups of all these gorgeous-looking freshwater pearls. Are there any different names? Because, there is a difference in color, Harish ji.
yeah. Actually, madam, pearls comes three shapes. One is oval, right? Oval shape. One is half round.
Which is this shape? These are all ovals? This is full round, right?
That is round.
Okay.
This is flat shape, button shape.
And are these the rice ones?
Seed pearls.
Seed pearls.
Yeah. This is seed pearls. Rice pearls.
So Harish ji, tell me, where do the freshwater pearls and sea water pearls come to Hyderabad from? Where do they come from?
Fresh water, it's come from Chandanpet, and salt water pearls you'll get it from Fiji, Sri Lanka, and Tahitian.
Okay, very interesting. Show me the ones that have come from Sri Lanka and various other parts of the world.
This one. This is from Fiji Island, Fiji. Okay. This is Tahitian,
Okay.
Tahiti Island.
Okay, and does it specialize in black pearl?
Yeah, it's a very rare collection, madam. Black pearls you'll get very rare. 1,000 out of pearls you'll get 1 or 2 pieces. So this is very expensive and good quality.
Important to find out, why is Hyderabad known as the city of pearls?
Because the Nizams likes pearls very much, madam. The all what it's called workers can be get it in only in Hyderabad, madam, not anywhere.
All right, thank you so much for giving me so much information about all these beautiful, gorgeous looking pearls. And in fact, let me also leave you with visuals of me trying out some beautiful, gorgeous pearls over here. It's not every day that you happen to come to the city of pearls.